Jack. This is a friendly celebration.
I don't much like the way you celebrate.
He's going to try that. So how you guys been? Everything going okay?
Yeah, everything's
all
just
right.
fine.
Good. How's your
We have
you got an heirs meeting this week, or did you have it last week, Jeff?
No, on Tuesday, we have a special heirs meeting come up with a co-author with Dr. McCullough, not David McCullough, the historian, but Dr. McCullough, the RNA doctor.
Oh, okay.
And so he co-authored a book with a guy, John Leake. And John Leake's been on a lot of the big podcasts in the last month or so. So he is coming in to do our event next Tuesday. So we're excited about that.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay.
And then the following week, I'm doing my first official Turning Point USA event
Oh, good for you.
down here in Tucson. So that'll be good. Looking forward to it.
Is Anna going to send a notice out about your Turning Point thing?
I'm going to ask her to, yes. Yes.
My wife and I might be interested in coming up and visiting there.
We would love to have you. It's actually going to be, I think, on the east side of town.
I can find that.
Yeah, somewhere
you,
east side at a church.
Are you guys expecting protesters?
It depends, Well, I can tell you right now, I mean, we're getting in here. Austin Albright is the high school rep for Turning Point USA down here in southern Arizona, New Mexico, and western Texas. And he had an event at Tucson Unified School District, downtown campus high school. And I mean, they had a riot on campus because of their booth.
Yeah.
And students were just looking for, but I think he's got 20 or 30 chapters in different high schools in those areas, but he's never seen anything like it. And
got him stirred up, huh?
Yeah, they had him stirred up, and he couldn't have a rational conversation, and the principal had to come out and kind of disband things, and there are 3 or 4 students that are part of that club were being ridiculed and mocked.
Oh, of course.
And it was really sad to see, because of course, these protesters are basing what they're thinking on false narratives.
Oh yeah, sure.
And it's just kind of sad that we can't. And of course, it's encouraged. I drove past one of the high schools here, Flowing Wells High School, earlier this week, and through the crosswalk, and that's kind of in central Tucson, and a lot of the kids were out right on the main road, not standing in it, but right beside it. Heavy traffic with signs about ICE and immigration.
Oh, yeah. During school hours or after school?
Oh, yes. No, during school hours.
Well, the teachers, a lot of teachers are encouraging that.
Yeah, this was right in the middle of the day. Right.
Well, the superintendent of education in Florida and all the principals issued a statement that if you leave school without a parent's excuse, you will be suspended. So so they haven't let anybody out of schools, and if they've left, they're not playing around with them. So yeah. So
unfortunately, in Tucson, you see the teachers out there with them.
Yeah, open the doors, right? Okay, here's Zack coming back in. Let's see if we can get Hello, Zack.
Can you see me now?
I see you now. Do you see us?
I see you from about the middle of your chin up.
Okay, well.
There you go. There's the rest of Don Woolley.
Is that better? Maybe it's better if I cover my mouth. Put a gag on. So welcome, you guys. Welcome, Zack. Welcome, Jeff. Welcome, Paul. I wanted to let you guys know that Ken is driving to Utah today. His daughter's getting married, so he's going out to to give his daughter away. So he's pretty excited about that. So he won't be with us
Yeah.
today. They don't have that good a internet connection as he's driving to from Prescott to Provo. So
Yeah.
anyway, welcome guys. It's good to see you. Hello everybody. This is 4 Men in America. We are recording, and I wanted to start out today by talking with you guys who are on the spot. You're there experiencing the Tucson kidnapping and what you're hearing about it, what's going on. Want to ask Zack about the young man that was detained that was from Rio Rico, what he knows about that, and is that important, or is that just somebody they kind of drummed up in the investigation of different delivery people, etc. But what's the latest going on, and what have you heard since we last talked? Of course, they had video. They've put out video and pictures, and your comments about the videos, if you've seen them, and I couldn't help but think about what you said, Jeff, that when you said you were thinking maybe the cartels were involved, and I'm not sure they're not now. So after looking at that video, you might be onto something there. So give me your comments. Whoever wants to start first, please do.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Well,
All
I
right.
guess,
Well, I'll comment. I mean, last time I did not have a comment about Sheriff Nanos, and I'll probably keep that limited this time as well. But here's the thing. I think he was thrilled to have the national attention. Okay. And hey, we get to shine in the spotlight a little bit. But if you're not prepared for that national attention, it's going to come back and bite you in the rear. And, I don't know enough to know if he's doing a good or bad job. But I do know that the PR or the perception or perspective of people is starting to become very negative, and it's not based on all false narratives, So, and I'm disappointed in that because the perspective of him, even though I don't think it's so bad, he goes and takes a break for a basketball game or these kind of things. But the perspective is like when Ted Cruz left Texas and went down to Cancun or something, when
Mhm.
everybody else, it's just not a smart PR look, especially with international attention. But it's a good lesson to all of us
Yeah.
that truth matters, but perspective also matters. And when you're engaged in something like this, and I think things are coming out to show that they really weren't, they being the Pima County Sheriff's Department, wasn't really on the ball. And of course, what's being put out is that they delayed inviting the FBI in to help them out.
Yeah.
And so the perspective is that, we're a bunch of yahoos. And I don't think that that's true. But I do think, look, when you're getting scrutinized, you better be on your best behavior.
Yeah.
And you can't be. And the last thing I'll say is that I got a call from my mom, who's 84 years old, last night, and this is how it's affecting the community. And I think I joked about this last time that if these
You
guys
did.
stole my mom, they'd be paying us to take her back. And she's a wonderful woman, but let me tell you, man, she
You don't want to
she
kidnap her, right?
but she called me at 8:30. She goes, "Just so you know, I got my cameras up outside. If they come and try to take me, come in and get me." I'm like, "Mom, your son isn't worth enough, number one, and they're not coming to take you." But that is the mentality of some
Yeah.
people, especially the elderly who just watch TV all day or aren't that active.
Yeah.
And this starts getting in their psyche. Like, am I next? And
Yeah.
no, you are not next.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's pretty obvious the media is just reaching everywhere to grab something. I mean, I
Yeah.
just don't believe any of this TMZ stuff. I think that's all bogus, and they're just doing it to get views and get an audience. And I just can't. I don't believe any of it. I don't believe Harvey, what's his name, and so I just ignore that stuff. But one of the things we heard here was that another thing Nanos delayed not only calling the FBI, but they have some kind of a special airplane there. They can go up and do search at night, etc. And they couldn't fly it till the next morning because they didn't have anybody. They didn't have anybody to fly the plane. So they were late doing that. But it's obvious they've spent the last, at least the FBI has spent the last week trying to catch up and look at all the grounds around the house and et cetera, the videos and getting the other thing that we've heard here is that the sheriff's office has been asking the family for permission to go into their homes, permissible entry, and this one this one FBI guy was saying that that doesn't always hold up in court. If you don't have a search warrant, if you don't get a search warrant to go into a place, some of the evidence you find may not be admissible. Some judges just won't accept it.
Even if
So
you're allowed in.
even if you're allowed in, right? Even if you give them permission. So I see Zack nodding his head because he's probably experienced that before. So yeah, so they have to be careful, and they weren't careful doing that. We also heard that deputies used the bathrooms in her home, which is really hard to believe. I mean, it's hard to believe anybody would be that stupid to go in there and use the bathroom. So so yeah. Go ahead, Zack. You wanted to say something, so please do. Who's the
Well,
guy in Rio Rico? Do you know anything about him, or is that just a
no,
kind of a happenstance?
no, it's just a distraction.
Yeah,
Uh, After Jeff sugar-coated the situation, I spent 30-something years law enforcement in this area.
yeah,
If you don't know the area, you don't understand law enforcement. Okay? Now, my first perspective, as soon as it was an abduction, the sheriff's officer should have stepped aside and turned it over to the FBI. Immediately, if not sooner. Now, the first piece of evidence that I saw, let me predicate this. A lot of southern Arizona, especially the area where the grandmother lived, is a senior citizen retired community. These people have nothing else to do but sit around and poke their nose in other people's business. And one of the things they do is they spend time on the telephone calling the sheriff's office, especially because they don't live in the city and there's no city police to call. And a lot of times these younger people, inexperienced people in the sheriff's office are put on the telephone to answer it. And they get many of these senior citizen calls all day long. And it becomes an annoyance.
yeah,
It goes beyond being boring. It becomes an annoyance because from the person taking the call's point of view, based on what else he's dealing with, it's a non-starter. It's not worth his attention or her attention. Well, I understand that because I've been on that telephone. So, do you remember the story about one of the neighbors called in a mysterious white van
yeah.
that was in the area?
We heard about that. Yeah,
Okay. That's not exactly an earth-shaking revelation.
yeah.
How long did it take for the deputy to respond to that complaint, that information?
Or did they
What
respond?
did they respond, and if so, when?
Yeah,
And what did the dispatcher record in the book as to the finding? And how did they record that? Because I can tell you for a fact that police departments, sheriff's departments do not like to record a call for service that was not provided.
Mm. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, it makes them look bad.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just had that happen to me February 3rd.
really. Yeah.
Okay. I live in a retirement community. There's people on my street that are 90 years old.
Yeah.
I ain't quite there yet, but I'm working on it.
89.
Yeah. Anyway,
Just kidding.
the neighbor's mailbox was overflowing. Their truck hadn't moved in a week. We'd had a windstorm about 5 days earlier, and a whole bunch of debris was blown up under their vehicle. I checked with the neighbors. These people recently moved in. They're from El Paso. The neighbors hadn't seen them, didn't even know them well enough to know their name.
Yeah.
So I called the sheriff's office and asked for a welfare check.
Santa Cruz Sheriff's Office.
Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Office.
Yeah.
The young person on the phone started asking me enough questions that if I knew the answer to, I wouldn't have needed to call the sheriff's office.
Right.
So I finally told him, look, just forget. I said, I'm waiting at the house for the deputy to come so I can show him why we're concerned. And he just kept on and kept on. He made it clear he was not going to send a deputy.
Mm. Yeah.
So I said, forget it. Well, one of the neighbors that I had consulted called me and asked me what happened when I called for a welfare check. I told her, I said that the sheriff's office made it clear they wasn't going to do it. So she called the sheriff's office, talked to the deputy on duty 2 hours and 15 minutes after my call. And my call for a welfare check was not recorded in the log.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. So what happened to that initial piece of evidence with the white van?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'll go on to the sheriff's office. As soon as it was an abduction of a high-profile person, they should have stepped aside and turned it over to the FBI. To me and law enforcement, it looked like the sheriff was running for office.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's as sugar-coated as I can put it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I believe that about Nanos. It's easy to believe about Nanos because
But I don't
Yeah.
believe that election was on the up and up.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that too.
Ask
You know where
Kevin
Nanos
Lippin.
you guys know where Nanos came from, right?
El Paso, wasn't it?
Yeah, he came from El Paso. Just saying.
Well, the person he allegedly defeated in that election was a well-known lifetime local police officer that had retired and had been sheriff for 4 years and done a fantastic job.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same thing. Did Katie Hobbs, was she really elected governor?
Yeah.
Well, she was Secretary of the State
Yeah.
during the election.
Everybody's going to wonder.
Well,
Zach, you're putting doubt in my mind.
Well, I think that's
Don.
that yeah, that's
Do you remember AJ LaFaro?
oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Do you remember when he was working at a polling place and a man came in with a large cardboard box full of filled out ballots?
Yeah, that's when he started complaining about ballot harvesting. Yeah, he lodged one of the first complaints in the state about ballot harvesting. Yeah, I remember.
I forget how many hundreds there were.
Oh yeah, there were
box.
hundreds. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the day I got here, when I moved from Texas to Arizona, I was told that ballot harvesting was an art form.
Oh yeah, no
in the
doubt.
state of Arizona, and especially in Santa Cruz County.
Yeah, yeah,
And then when I was chairman of the Republican committee here, I was never in 16 years allowed to do signature verification.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's the heart and soul of mail-in ballots.
That's right. Yeah,
Does the signature match?
yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. When you go back and you want to, everybody says, well, let's do like a recount, right? Well, if you're going to recount bad ballots or invalid ballots, what good is a recount, right? And that's probably the number one way. The mail-in ballot thing is the number one way that we're getting this fraud in the elections in 2020 and in 2022, because they make ballots and they run those through the machines, and then
Yeah.
afterwards there's no accountability. That's why I have pushed in the Arizona legislature and I started with Dave Gowan and a couple other people, and now I'm trying to work with Shauna Bullock, even from Florida. I'm trying to get you guys for sequentially numbered ballots, because if you know you gave out 800 ballots, you're not going to get back more than 800 ballots in the voting, right? And if you get more than 800 ballots, which is all you printed, then something's up. So, you know, you need to sequentially number ballots. That's in the Texas Constitution and it's in their statute. So she's been trying to do that, and she almost got that through a couple of years ago. But for some reason, that somebody in the House complained about it, had some complaint about her bill, so it didn't make it. Whether Hobbs
Well,
would have signed or not, I don't know, but that needs to happen there.
I have a little insight on that.
Yeah,
There are some bills that aren't moving because they know Katie Hobbs will veto it.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure that's true. Yeah, yeah. But
And
I think,
they don't like to bring a bill up to another governor that's been vetoed by a previous governor.
yeah, sure. So tell me what you guys think about the video itself, about the guy in the video and the pictures. What's your conclusion about it? What did you notice about it? Been a lot of discussion on about it, especially Megan Kelly with some guests. Um, Everybody kind of wondered, well, why did he go back and pick off a piece of a bush and go back to the doorbell? Well, I told Patty, I said, there's a little hole in the top of the doorbell camera that you put, like we have a little pin thing that you push in and it pops it out, right? It releases it from the wall. So that's what he was doing. He was trying to find something to get down in that hole because he couldn't just pull it off. So, but what kind of things did you notice about the gloves, backpack? And there were some pictures of somebody without a backpack, and then there was the guy with the backpack and the gun and the reflective stuff. And he obviously had a pen-light camera in his mouth at one part of that. They noticed he had I don't call it a goatee, but when you have some hair underneath your lip here, right? I don't know what that's called. They got a name for it now, but they noticed he
Chin
had
whiskers.
that. Yeah, and he also had looked like a beard. So they pinpointed that. But what other things did you guys notice? What did you notice, Zach, as a former law enforcement guy, about that video and the pictures and everything? If you've seen them.
Well, it looked like underneath his clothing was padded to make him look heavier than he was right off the bat. And then when you look at the gloves, they were also padded. Well, you would think that if he was trying to hide his fingerprints or anything else, he would have had on like surgical gloves, because you have better tactile use of your hands and your fingers.
Oh yeah, sure.
Um,
I heard they found a glove around the house somewhere, right? Recently?
yeah, but quite frankly, it looked more like a performance than it was somebody caught in the act.
Yeah. He looked very calm to me. He didn't look like he was at all disturbed by what he was doing, I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
he just seemed like very methodical and kind of went up there and went back, got the bush, went up, and he didn't. They keep
Like,
saying he was unprofessional, but I'm not sure that's true.
like he belonged there.
Yeah. Yeah. Or he was so familiar with the place that yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah, I still think it was a performance.
yeah. Yeah.
May not even have been the guy.
Yeah. There you go.
Might have been somebody just went there to see that nothing happened before the real guy did whatever he was going to do.
Yeah. And then the other question is, if that guy was a cartel guy, if he was, are you going to be able to find him now? Is he not buried somewhere in the desert? Would they not get rid of him if he's the one that did it? And not wanting him to get caught, they just get rid of him, wouldn't they?
I think that's a blind alley.
Yeah.
There's been so many mistakes made leading up to this. It was all about publicity and running for office and this, that, and the other, that the case was corrupted before the FBI arrived.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like I said, Jeff sugarcoated it, and that's the best I can do.
So what are your comments, Paul? What did you think about the guy on the video? What did you
I don't
see?
know. He did not look like he had a purpose. And he certainly wasn't prepared for whatever purpose he wasn't prepared for. He just wandered up there and played with the camera a little bit, and then went out and got the little bush, whatever it was. And as far as what you were saying, Don, I just worked with my doorbell yesterday, and the little pin is necessary to take the camera out of the mounting, but you can do the same thing with a screwdriver, or unless he was just a very meticulously perfectionist burglar.
Yeah.
And I was worried about if I was him and I was worried about the camera, it would have come down. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't
You
have
could
gone
pry it
looking
off,
for
I guess. Yeah.
yeah,
You could knock it off with a hammer or something.
exactly. So
Ours has a little pinhole that's about big enough for a paper clip, the
right,
size of a paper clip. Yeah.
but like I said, you don't need that to get it off the wall. You only
No,
need that if you
no.
want to put it back on the wall.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and so I don't think that was his motivation. I wouldn't have thought that was his motivation if he was going to put the camera back up after he did his dirty deed, whatever it was. I just don't. I don't think it had something to do with this, but I don't know what, because it doesn't look like it was tied to whatever happened to her, and we still don't know what happened to her, whether she was kidnapped,
Yeah,
whether
that's
she
right.
wandered off, and that's why I think that the FBI is searching so diligently right around the house there.
Yeah.
They had limited
Yeah.
mobility.
Yeah.
There's some blood, they said, on thing, but we don't know whether it was a drop or a pint or a gallon on the front porch.
Yeah.
She may have gone out of the house to water her plants. When you're 84 years old, your mind can wander. And now Savannah says she's sharp as a tack. And that's exactly what they said about Joe Biden. Remember?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. Sharp as
so
a tack. Right.
I would in no way insult Miss Guthrie about being sharp
Comparing
as
her to
Joe Biden.
Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. But
There you
the
go.
point is, she could have gone out there for some reason and fallen down, and that's where the blood came from. And then she got disoriented and walked off into the bush. And like Zack was saying, by the time the FBI got involved in all that, somebody said she's coyote bait at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been 12 days now since she disappeared. She's supposed to be on some kind of life-saving medicine, which I'm sure she didn't take with her. So I don't know. I don't wish anybody any bad luck, but I don't hold out a whole lot of hope of them finding her alive. That's just the way I feel.
Yeah. We all hope she's alive, but yeah, it seemed 12 days seems like quite a while. So what if here's kind of a crazy thought, but this went through my mind thinking about all this. What if she, the mother, was we heard that she had three loans or three mortgages on her house. Why would somebody do that? But what if she was so disenchanted about her situation and her other daughter compared to Savannah that she wanted to get back at Savannah. So she's part of the scheme.
Well, right now, all options are open, it would appear.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, isn't that possible?
well, anything's
I mean,
possible.
when it comes to families,
Look at
you just never know what's going on internally in a family. And there's obviously between Savannah's wealth and I don't know if Savannah, has she ever said she has a house in Tucson? She doesn't have a house in Tucson, does she?
I don't
Own
know.
property. They have never said she did. Well, maybe they're just trying to keep that quiet. But the sister and of course the sister's husband is kind of, I don't know. He's kind of shady looking, right? There's something about that guy that isn't right. And you notice when her sister gets on camera, she's always blinking a lot. I mean, she blinks like 100 times in a minute. What is that about? It's not normal for people to blink like that, is it?
It could be a
Well,
tick.
it's called a nervous
Nervous?
tick.
Yeah, nervous tick. Well, she's got the tick. Yeah. So anyway, those are some of the things I thought about, and we're all watching from afar, and I figured you guys are nested there in Tucson or near Tucson, so
Well,
you
all
know,
we get on the local news is the repeat of the national news.
yeah.
They
Are
don't do any research of their own.
are they getting any clues or are they getting any calls from local people about anything? Any,
Well, the
they've
FBI
had,
said they've gotten 4,000 calls since the videos came out.
yeah.
So
Is that,
I,
but
I don't. But
are
that's again from the national news. I don't know if anybody locally is come up
yeah,
with something.
trying to
Some
help
of the
out?
local media evidently got another ransom note or something like that for bitcoins. So that's what I heard today. I don't know.
What?
I
Go ahead, Paul.
Well, I'm just going to say I just this whole thing's been blown so out of proportion and so botched, as Zack mentioned, by the local gendarmerie that it's hard to tell what's really going on and
Yeah.
where Ms. Guthrie is and what's going on in her world. We don't know. So
So, well, people can't be shocked. I mean, the guys and the folks that we all know there, that just like Chris Nanos, they're not shocked at what's happened, right?
no, not
I
really.
mean, are
I
are
don't
you
think so.
guys shocked
I'm not shocked.
knowing the guy and
I mean, how Chris Nanos avoided going to jail for
well,
the
yeah,
RICO money that he
right?
pocketed or spent
Yeah,
illegally, and why the county attorney didn't go with him for
yeah.
letting him come up with what 275,000 or 725,000. I
Hmm.
get dyslexia around
Yeah,
there, but it was a lot of money to
Well,
refurbish the cafeteria in the jail for the chief deputy's daughter to run the cafeteria there. I mean, it's just how they didn't go to jail is exactly how Kelly and Slotnick didn't get indicted
yeah.
um, with the jury pool
Well,
that's so left leaning.
yeah. I don't think Kelly's off the hook yet, but with the court martialing, but we'll see. So, what do you think, Jeff? Any other comments?
well, I'll be honest. I do think it's appropriate to come down on Nanos, but I don't think it's appropriate. I know there's some really good sheriff's deputies within the
Oh
system,
yeah, sure. I'm sure there are. Yeah,
and a lot of them supported uh, the lady who was running against Nanos, who was just fantastic.
yeah.
And I
Heather, yeah.
really, oh, what's that?
Heather Lappin, yeah.
Yeah, she was wonderful. But I was really hoping and cheering for Nanos, believe it or not. I really was, to show that a local law enforcement could step up and do some things. But I think Zach and Paul are both right. The first thing that they should have done is immediately requested the help of the FBI. But I think that they really wanted the limelight. I don't know why else you would, on something like this. But I am one that likes the separation between the local police and the federal. And I would to have liked to see them show a lot more, competence and that the national press gives them a lot of kudos rather than what they've gotten. So it is disheartening. It's a bad look for our sheriff's department, where they deserve a lot of credit for doing a lot of good things. But I do think it comes from the top, and I think it really could have been a lot better. So
One of the
yeah,
things that, since we talked last week, um, I mentioned about who has jurisdiction in something like this. Does the FBI automatic? But one of the things they did mention a couple of days ago was that because of the emails that have gone on, whether, whatever's going on there, if it's legit or not, we don't know if it's from the kidnapper or not, but that makes it an internet crime, and that becomes automatically an FBI
right.
uh, part of the case. So
Yeah.
that whether if he hadn't asked for help, that would have got him in on it. So, but they've tried to work with him. They're always saying, well, they're working with him.
Yeah.
I I think they're doing most of the work working with him. So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, they're the ones that absolutely they're the ones that got the video done. Excuse me. So let's go on and talk about what are you thinking about the possibilities of the new shutdown? What's your feelings about it?
I
Where are we going?
I'll tell you what I think. I called John Thune's office this morning, and knowing that I'm probably going to see the FBI up close and personal. No, I didn't say anything bad. I just said it's very un-American for you to sit on the filibuster when you know that the results of not calling for this talking filibuster and getting the rules changed to 50 votes is going to kill the SAVE Act, which is going to destroy our elections. And that's what I told him. And it's got me so irritated. I used a bad word, but not talking on the phone because I didn't want to cause any international events. But
Right.
seriously, I mean, all Thune has to do is change the rules. Talking filibuster done. When the Democrats quit talking, he votes 50 votes, and we got bang. We got the Save America Act, and I can't even believe Democrats voted against it. That's a
Well, yeah,
blatantly
crazy.
obvious setup for cheating. But it's embarrassing sometimes to think that the elected representatives of this country hate America that much.
Yeah.
So,
And there are people that vote for those people.
well, they're just stupid.
Well,
You know,
they're more interested in ideology and potentially personal interest
Yeah.
than doing what's right for the nation.
Yeah.
It become the priorities are just way out of whack, of course. But then again, I think the Republican priorities of holding fast to the filibuster the way they are and giving away this opportunity we've had to really accomplish a lot. But I know there's some smart people who disagree. Senator Kennedy of Louisiana wants to keep it, and a lot of other senators want to keep the filibuster. I would just respectfully disagree and say you've got your priorities out of whack, because the country, we can't hold to long time principles. And the problem is they think it is a long time principle, but it's
Yeah.
not,
It's
because
not.
it's only been used weaponized, in modern history. It
Right.
was weaponized in history, but very, very rarely.
Right. Yeah. And then they
now,
came up with this zombie filibuster that we talked about last week, which is, you don't even have to be around to start a filibuster, right? Which is ridiculous.
well, something I read this morning, I think, and I think I read it right, was that Thune doesn't have to bomb the filibuster. He can take the filibuster out of this vote and just make it a filibuster-proof vote for
They
the
can, sure,
cloture.
they control
Yeah.
their own rules.
Yeah, they
Right.
control the rules. Yeah. There's
So
no
he doesn't
reason he
have to
couldn't
kill
do
it
that.
all the way across the board. He could just kill it for this one vote, get the
Yeah.
SAVE Act enacted. It'll be signed on the way to the White House. I think Trump will meet it halfway.
Yeah.
Um, and it'll protect America from what we've been putting up with for the last 4, 5, 8, 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
And at the same
it
time,
needs to happen.
you could exempt the Homeland Security bill and get it passed and prevent another shutdown, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
so
So agreed. Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
I guess that's why I'm not king.
You're not. It's good to be the king, right? Yeah. Well, we got rid of our king a long time ago, so
Let me
sometimes it's
react to
good to be the king.
this.
Yeah. Go ahead, Zach. What do you think?
I got an email from Steve Calise. You know who he is?
Oh yeah, Steve Scully. Yeah, he's second. He's second in
Oh,
the House, right?
Scully's.
House
Okay.
Whip or House Whip. Are you there, Zach?
Oh, we lost him.
We lost
Uh-oh.
him. Yeah.
Well,
He'll
that's what
come back
happens when
on.
you say that's what happens when you say the wrong name on TV, man.
That's right. That's right.
Man,
AI gotcha.
Scalise dropped him right off, right?
Scalise is
I
getting
think
back at people
Scalise
who
is
shoot at
the
him on the baseball field.
he's the what do they what he's not
He's
the
the House
House
Whip,
is
isn't he?
he the whip? Yeah, I
I
think
think
he
he's
is
the
the
whip.
whip. Yeah, I think so. And he was the whip for Paul Ryan too, which always disturbed me a little bit.
Uh,
I'm but I know he was one of the persons that got shot in the park by the crazy crazy guy and recovered, and Trump's very fond of him, and his courage, so I
Yeah.
understand that. Yeah, I think he's a good guy, but he was strong with the big beautiful bill, so and he's real good getting up every day and talking. So
Yes.
boy, did you guys see Lisa McLean in the Speaker Johnson's presentation yesterday morning?
Mm-mm.
It's on YouTube. She holds up a bunch of pictures of criminal illegal aliens that have raped women and killed kids and women, and she just lays it on the press. I mean, she went to
Wow.
town. She did not hold back, and so it was really good. It's good. that
Hmm.
that that needs to be done. You know, it needs to be done because you're not talking about a bunch of innocent angels. Some of these people that are running around this country, and they've got to be rounded up and got out of here. And Jeff, I have to ask you: did you see the sheriff that was in Congress, and the guy asked him about the three branches of government?
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
What,
McFadden.
give me your comments about that. Did you
Well,
throw up? I know. It's scary,
well,
isn't it?
look, this is why I have a grant to go teach
Yeah,
all local law enforcement throughout the
yeah,
whole country.
sure,
And people ask, well, is it a big deal? Do they really need it? Do we need to
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah,
But the problem is, if you don't know these types of things, if you don't know these types of things, you don't know how to judge what's going on in Minnesota, and
sure,
because I do hear people like Victor Davis Hanson, who was beautiful, talk about, they're going on the states' rights, and, they're going to interfere with,
yeah.
federal buildings and these kind of,
Like the
they're
Confederacy,
the
right? Yeah, yeah,
neo-Confederates and these kind of things.
yeah,
The
yeah,
problem is they're not. They are, but they're not. They're whatever they need to be. Look,
mm-hmm,
if they were in power at the federal level, they wouldn't be the neoconservatives. They would be the top-down, heavy-handed, unionists and
yeah,
supremacy clause. So it's not that they are principled, and that's the point. And I love Victor Davis Hanson, but the point is they're not standing on principles of states' rights. No, when Obama was in office and Clinton, they were all about federal supremacy. And
sure,
it's not about ignorance of the supremacy clause,
yeah,
and it's not about all these things. And so, and I take issue with that. We have to be really careful about bashing people who put up the states' rights flag. And I don't call it states' rights. People come to me and say, "Hey, Jeff, you're a state." No, I'm a federalist. I
yeah,
believe in the Constitution
right,
and that we have a federal system of government. Okay, constitutional federal republic. And if people don't understand what that means, they need to take a civics class. And
oh
most
yeah,
people do
yeah,
not understand that.
yeah,
And so when I did see the sheriff, I felt bad for him. I did.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, my first reaction was not anger. It
I
was
think the
sympathy.
congressman felt bad for him too, right? When he
Yeah.
looked at him and said, "I didn't think we'd get stuck here."
Yeah.
I thought,
But
"Oh
I
my
did.
goodness."
I felt bad for him,
Yeah,
but at the same time, Look, that is malpractice. That is like being a doctor and not knowing how to perform the
Welcome back,
surgery
Zach.
that you're qualified to perform, and you're a danger to your society. So, as nice a guy as that person probably is, and he got voted in, he is unqualified to have the
To be a
position
sheriff.
he
Yeah.
has.
Yeah, he can't.
But it breaks my heart.
I know. Yeah, it's terrible. So we were at lunch with some friends about a week ago, and that's better than going to lunch with enemies, right? But
Right.
we were at lunch
Yeah.
with some friends, and the lady, the wife of the guy that we were eating with, she said, "Well, I don't understand why all these states have different traffic laws and why they have different signs and and I said there's this little thing called the Constitution, and I sat there and
Yes.
explained it to him. I said
Good.
it's the things that everything in the Constitution is what the federal government can do, and anything that's not in there is what states can do. And she looked like she just looked shocked when I told her that, right? So I think we're
Basic
talking about,
civics.
yeah, I think we're talking about a lot of people we know just don't get it, right? Don't understand it. So,
Well, again, Don, I'll bring up, I taught another class, the Oral Valley. No, I can't remember the name of the group, but Tuesday, and I asked the question again, who here believes Donald Trump is making America great again?
yeah,
And
yeah,
I got unanimous support, and I
yeah,
was just like, no, no, we cannot rely on one
yeah.
human being to make America great again, because what
Right.
happens if something happens to him?
Yeah, it's
He
us. It's us that
alone
has to do it. Yeah,
cannot make America great again.
yeah, right.
And I,
That's right.
and I think I got a few oranges and tomatoes thrown at me, but other than that,
Some eggs, huh? Did they
it
TP
was,
your house?
yeah.
Hey,
So,
Zach, I've got to ask you since you're back on there. I'm glad you came back on because do you have any insight into ICE training in urban environments?
No.
No. Do you,
Well,
do,
but
do you believe that they get good training and what they're doing when they go out in a targeted
Well,
event after a criminal
I
illegal alien?
we do the Border Patrol does those kinds of targeted pickups.
Right.
Usually speaking, it is a warrant issued by an immigration judge for this person to leave the United States voluntarily. And when they leave the United States voluntarily, they turn in a piece of paper that says they have left the United States.
Okay.
That's called an order of deportation.
Yeah.
If that order of deportation is not served upon the person departing the United States, there's a warrant issued for his arrest.
Okay.
They find out where he lives, they find out where he works, and they go get him.
Is that the 200 and the 205?
The 205 is the initial information. It's like a complaint or a piece of information, and it's converted to intelligence when they actually identify the person and, when they're going to act upon it.
Okay.
Now, that's what was going on in Minneapolis, and that's why they were trying to stop it, because all of the people that are being covered there by local law enforcement have probably been blackmailed to be involved in the illegal fraud, and they're holding the deportation over them, that they're keeping them from being deported by being in Minneapolis. And to have that protection, you have to do this.
Yeah.
That's that. You just don't go to somebody's house and knock on the door and say, "Hey, Jose Juan, come on out peacefully," because they're not going to do it.
Yeah. Right. Well, but there's a lot of people that say that I heard a conversation on the radio the other day that ICE agents are not trained in the local local environments for getting these people, and I just don't believe that's true.
Mm.
Well, the local environment at 3 degrees below zero in Minneapolis would make you want to cut the outside contact very short.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I had a SEAL buddy said that they had the solution to handle the Minneapolis problem real quick. And that's a fire truck going down and just opening up the hose real quick.
Exactly.
In the middle of winter, you wouldn't have any problems.
Yeah,
Man,
let me
that
go
would
back
do
to
it.
Steve.
Soaked with water. Yeah. Go ahead,
Let's see.
Zach.
Let's see if I get now. When I mentioned this congressman's name a while ago, my screen immediately went blank. And
I know
I did
Steve
not
Scalise.
I
Thank
did
you.
not touch
I know.
the phone.
And we talked about it. Yeah, we said, well, Scalise didn't like that. Go ahead.
I got an email from him. I saw him on TV talking about the SAVE Act.
Yeah.
So I picked up the phone and I called his Washington office because he obviously wanted some help.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm so-and-so. I live in Rio Rico, Arizona, and I think I have some stuff that Steve Scalise can use. And he said, well, what's that? I said, I have a Mexican voter ID card. It is hard laminated. It has the person's photograph, their biographical information, their signature, and their fingerprint, and it is issued by the Mexican government, and it allows them to vote in Mexican elections.
Mm.
He said, well, I don't know if it's something he'd be interested in, but I can't give you any more information than that. You can leave your name and phone number, and if he's interested, we'll call you back.
So interesting. Yeah.
Well, if you're calling out and putting out a public call for help, and you call his Washington office and get that kind of reception.
Yeah.
What kind of help do you want, right?
Yeah, what do you want? I did it. If you're going to do the SAVE Act, if they can do it in Mexico, are you telling me we can't do it in the United States?
Yeah, that's right.
Mexico's got it. Mexico understands fraud. They invented it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, there was a Democrat senator the other day that had a town hall, and you had to have an ID to get in the town hall.
Right.
Right. And then he went in the town hall and told everybody that we don't need a voter ID. You don't need an ID to vote. Now, how did they get away with that? If you were sitting in the crowd, would you say, well, I had to show my ID to get into this building. Why wouldn't I have to show an ID to vote? I mean, are people that stupid?
You're giving them too much credit, Don.
I guess so. Yeah, I really am.
You've got an engineering background. So.
I know. We have people tell us all the time, right? They say, well, the American people are smarter than that. They'll get it, right? And sometimes you look at yourself and you go, well, are they really smart?
Well, didn't we gosh, a couple of years ago, it seemed like there was
look at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys watched it because I didn't, but I've heard all about it. And it's been a total embarrassment for the NFL.
A couple of years ago, there was a big push for a national ID card.
Yeah.
And that was violently opposed. And I think that's what we would be looking at with a voter registration card. In my mind, it's the same thing, because as soon as it's issued, then when you get to the New Mexico-Arizona border, and there's the Border Patrol, and they'll say, let me see your ID card. Everybody has one, so I know you've got one, or you aren't an American, that kind of thing. So that's why I think it was so violently opposed. So I don't know. That's just something that stuck in my head when Zack mentioned that. So
and a lot of people that are really believers look at that as a mark of the beast, right? That's the first thing. That's the first thing they think about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying they're right, but I'm just saying they do that. And what's wrong with the driver's license with a star on it that allows you to travel and go through airports? That's basically the same thing, So
that's why I don't have one.
Just as long as you didn't get one through, you didn't get your registration through the DMV, that's always suspect. But you have some of these DMVs that just gave away licenses to people, like these CDL licenses in California and some other states. These guys driving that can't read. I mean, you find out about this stuff and it's just hard to believe. But so anybody else got any last minute comments about anything? What would you like to say here in the last 2 minutes?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead, Zach.
I remember seeing Everett Dirksen, who was then had Nancy Pelosi's position,
Speaker of the
Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
And he made a statement. He made a statement that says money is the lubricant that makes Congress work. So where does that lubricant come from? And what is expected in return? Because we see all of these senators in particular saying all this stuff that is so out of character, plus opposing the sitting president. It has to be some kind of personal benefit that overrides the obvious betrayal of the constituent.
You think that might be some Maduro lubricant?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the suspicion. Yeah,
oil and money.
Yeah, oil and money. Yeah,
that'll lubricate everything inside.
Yeah.
Well,
and Paul was heavily involved with oil, right, Paul? So.
Well, I wasn't heavily involved, but I was.
Well, you were in the business.
Involved.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Well, that's something that we probably need to talk about here someday. When we start seeing more in the news and more people talking about it, we'll bring it up on here and talk about it, because I know I've seen the list going around. I saw the list you sent me, and I've seen another list, and it's not good. That you have senators that took Maduro money for whatever. So. Anyway, thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate you joining us today.
We're going to send Jeff a 50-pound sack of sugar.
Oh, by the way, they had a big fentanyl bust in California, San Diego this morning, with the San Diego County Sheriff and ICE and CBP. So they said it was enough fentanyl to kill 19 million people. So
can I
boxes
suggest
and boxes of it. Yeah. Can you what?
Can I suggest who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Christy Nome says, Governor Newsom, you need to get on board and let us go into your jails and get those 33,000 criminal aliens you have locked up right now. Now, can you imagine that? 33,000 criminal aliens they have in their jails, and they won't turn them over to ICE. So anyway,
think of all the American criminals that are not getting to go spend time on the government tent there.
Yeah,
because the jail's full of illegals.
Okay, everybody, thanks for joining 4 Men in America. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Zach. Thanks, Paul. Good luck to Ken Bennett with his daughter's wedding, and we'll see you all next week. And God bless America.
See you guys.
If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better.